Beginning. How do you do this? Okay, so a little background of myself. Actually, I'm actually you can tell that I am actually representing the business sector itself because currently I have my own startup. It's actually Anak Muda.net. Anak Muda.net is a Indonesian word for youth. So basically, we're a startup company that's focusing ourselves in the development of youth, especially by giving them chances and activity, and also connecting them with the governments and also the corporate. So that's why we call them as a managers. And also, my background also as a debater, so that's why we always try to promote critical thinking and open-mindedness and how we need to be able to take on perspective of other people. Those are basically what my background is. But this, and I don't think this slide is just to represent, I think this also represents the numbers in ASEAN because ASEAN itself, our population is quite big, Indonesia itself. And one important thing that we can notice right now is that our communities right now, our youth is actually a native community, digital native community, because we see millions of people were born in the digital era, and we think that this is something that's important. Indonesia is also a growing economy as well as ASEAN as well. You can see in the GDP and the GDP of our nations of Indonesia, and also always in the ASEAN level itself. So in short, Indonesia and as well as ASEAN, we are a young growing online fellows. This is the first summary that I would like to share with all of you guys. But let's cut the chase and go to the main issue. So this is actually the traditional role of business entity that is my conclusion so far. First of all, that we always see the business entity as a place where the youth will someday will work because they will have their job as a professional level, or even though they're an entrepreneur, they're still going to think that as their perspective. The second one is that the business sector is actually a funding bank for the youth activity. Well, I still agree with the fact that we still need money from the governments and also the corporate, also the business sector. We think that these two traditional roles needs to be slightly adjusted in terms of how we view it ourselves, because I think all of us is actually a prominent youth activist within our country. I think I can agree with you guys, and you can agree with me that we ever have quite a disappointing session when we are having a connection with a corporate level. Let's say, for example, we ask them for sponsorship, and yeah, we will be there. They're rejecting us, or they simply did not respond to us. Just like dating, I think we've been disappointed so many times with this corporate entities. That's why we think that we need to have, I would like to propose an alternative view of how we are seeing these entities as such. Because here's the thing, this is what I think is the necessity if you want to have a healthy youth leadership. The first of all is that we think that we need to have a progressive chances. We are not youth that needs to be be given chances anymore. We need to have an organic chances of us to be shown and to be exposed in order for us to be seen as a leader itself. It needs to be a bottom up from the macro level. We don't need to be become a president of a big student association. No, leadership needs to be built from the macro level. This is what the healthy leadership means. The second of all, you need to have an accelerator. This is something that actually youth is already having right now. We might not have the experiences that the old, no, I'm not going to say old people, that the senior might have, but we have something else in our mind. We have the information technology in our hands, something that's very visible, something that is very potential for us to harness all the information and the available resources that might compensate the time that we're lacking in this world because we were born much later compared to them. But third of all, what's really needed for the healthy youth leadership is actually a field lab. What is field lab? Field lab is basically an exercise-friendly environment, events, organization for us soon-to-be leaders to practice themselves. I'm not saying that we need to experimenting in handling organization or events. No, I'm saying that we need to have an ecosystem for that. Now, these three things is something that some country might have, Indonesia might have some of them, other country might have some of them, but we think that this is a good potential of how we can view the business sector nowadays right now. This is something that we want to propose. Because this is actually what happens in a business environment nowadays, right? In the trend itself, we think that we have a growth, especially in the online business. You can see here in the online era in 2007, 2010, and then 2010, 2013, and then we have all the startups. I'm sure you hear some of the startups that was mentioned here. They are actually starting from like what the representative from Cambodia said about the startup itself. Now, the second of all, this is actually also what happens in countries of ASEAN. We have a growing economy, we have a stabilizing realm of economy. Although we have several issues happening like Brexit yesterday, or the economic crisis, but we are still hanging in there up until now. Second of all, we also believe, I do agree with the speakers of the Philippines just now, that supportive governments is more and more in ASEAN right now. Philippines will have their own president. We have our Mr. Joko Widodo. We have a supportive government that actually starting to think more about the society. And what's in the air with also with the information era, this is the easy way for us to harness information. In short, this is actually what I'm trying to say. Youth right now is no longer being needed to be seen as, we are no longer the one that leads the corporate and the business entity. I think that we have to agree upon that the business entity is actually the one that needed us right now, because we're actually the market. We're actually the potential buyer. We're actually the potential marketers for the products as well. This is how we need to see the business sector right now. We need to think that we are actually powerful. We are no longer a 16 or 20-year-old college student that goes to your office asking for your sponsorship for 10 million, for $1,000, and then you can reject us. No. We have the power on this. We have the government with us, and we have the. But I'm not going to say that we need to, wage a war, because no. It's just saying that we have a balance. We have a balanced position right now. We can offer something, and they're no longer in the position that actually they're granting us. Now we're in the position that we can collaborate and we can synergize within the youth and actually the corporate level. This is how we need to view ourselves as youth, and how we need to view ourselves to when we're talking to the business entity. And because also, actually, the diversity of youth right now is very, very amazing. We have a student organization, we have activists, all of those things in the slides. These are something that actually potential and business sector are looking for this. They are looking for us. They think that we are actually, the diamonds of their market. That is why, the job of the business sector right now, the role of them, we need to transform into, no longer as a place where youth will want to work, but rather a provider for a friendly environment for them to work. Some corporate do this. If you see a modern corporation like now, they no longer have the cubicle setting for the desk. Like they have a much modern tables where you can sit around and talk to other people. And this is how the business sectors are transforming themselves, because they will lose us if they don't transform like that. This is one proof of that. And also the second of all, there are a lot of competition. There are a lot of platforms that the business sectors are actually encouraging the youth to join in order in the end that they want to acquire us as the workers. Oh, sure. But those are the opportunities for the youth to be developing themselves. And the second of all, I think that how we view them as the funding bank from our youth activity need to be slightly adjusted. Yes, I do agree that we still need their money. But the question is, how can we use their money for? Some people use their money only for their activity. No. What I see is, I think that we can use their money to fund our own sustainability program. So if we ask for their money in this year, that maybe in the next year we don't need their money anymore, because we can create ourselves a sustainable operation, a sustainable or even somewhat profitable way of things. Because we do know socialpreneurship, right? Socialpreneurs are actually a person that still can get profitable, but they do have social values. That can be us, that can be the youth right now, and I think that's what the youth needs to aim. So we will be less dependent to other people and other organizations. Now, okay, that's the first prize. Now, in creating such ecosystem to the youth, I think that we can categorize ourselves into these four categories. We can be entrepreneurs, and especially the youth, if we are actually having a business. We can be the social activists, the youth that think about, and also professional and the young majority. Entrepreneurs, as usual, we are actually the owners of the business. We create values, we create job skills. The social activists, we are the future-oriented with the fair, trustworthy, humble, sympathetic. We're actually the ones that are thinking about the added value to the society itself. Or we can be the professionals. We are not limiting. Since we're talking about the business sector, we're not limiting ourselves only to be entrepreneur. We can also become still the professional that works within the corporation or the business sector, but we need to position ourselves in the sense that we can be the partner of them. Not no longer that we are working with them instead of, before that we are working for them. That's how we see it. But lastly, this is actually maybe the youth that are not in this room right now, which is the young majority. The majority of people who are still undecided about what we are going to do in the future. In election, there are the swing voters that haven't yet decided of their future goals. Now, how to picturize this in one slide. This is what I think is the synergy that needs to be happen between us, the youth, and actually the business sector. The first of all, that we need to also have the entrepreneurial value, which is the sustainability. The second of all is the professional value, which also inherited from the business sectors and corporations, and also the social movement and the social activism value that actually really rich in the vein of our youth right now. But lastly, what we really need to help with them is actually to help our young majority to find their passion, to find what do they want in their life, what do they want in their future. This is something that quite missing, and I think that we can be the mentors to upgrade this young majority to decide what they want to do in their life. Now, whoa, okay, can someone help me? It's the last two slides. It's a good highlight that to say that I'm almost done. Yes, no, before this, thank you. So this is actually the general recommendation that I would like to propose. I want to get into the technical level. We think that we need real actions right now. We might not be able to simulate and also to trigger as much as synergy that we want with the governments or the corporation. But I think that we can have, maybe we can have a regional platform where business entity and youth as well as other parties are able to synergize, not only on coordination level but also on the working level. It can be, I'm not going to say discussion. Discussion is the first step. Now we need the next step. It can be, let's say, on the competition, entitling participants to be assembled from 2 or more respective entities above. For example, in Indonesia, we have a grant by the government that actually requires you to partner with the corporate entities and university if you want to be selected as the winner. So when you're giving the proposal, you need to ensure that you have at least one entity of corporate and one entity of education that supports you for you to be able to be given the grant by the government. I think that this is a good, good example of what the program that we can have to promote such kind of values. This is actually exactly what we are having. The next slide, please. This is actually something that we're going to have in 2016. This is one of the programs that the Indonesian government with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and actually the Ministry of Defense Sport and actually a couple of corporate entities are working on. So we are actually organizing a competition for young entrepreneurs from Asia and Europe. That you can go to you can actually go to the website, the ASEAN-China.com. It's actually already open for non-Indonesian participants. You can join along with the 52 countries of Asia and Europe, and you can join this. Now, to highlight the fact that we are able to do this without heavy funding from the government, the funding from the government that we get for this event is less than $15,000 for the whole event and in order to get 52 countries to come to Indonesia in the next October. The rest of the funds we get from the corporate and also the business sector, as well as how we have our own money and using our own money to do this. Now, this is a long process. I know this is a culmination of a process, a very tedious process, and a very tiring process, just like today. Now. But what I think that we can agree and we can conclude is, I think it's a good way for us to have a transformative values and to ease the burden of the government, ease the burden of our corporate sector, and also to introduce the youth as a prominent members and as a prominent members of the life that really can contribute to the world and also for themselves, even without depending themselves too much on the other channels of the business sector. So I think that's what I want to say. I think in the end our conclusion is very simple. I think that we are very contention. I think that we can do more rather than just asking for the government or asking for the corporate sector. We are valuable to them, and in the end, let's discuss more. We'll be happy to have more discussion with you guys. Thank you so much.
Let's invite the representative from Brunei Darussalam, Mr. Muhammad Massatin bin Haji Habib Muhammad. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to all my Muslim friends. Good afternoon, esteemed guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'd like to start with a short introduction of myself. So my full name is Muhammad Massatin bin Muhammad. I am currently a third year student studying mechanical engineering in the University of Sheffield in the United Kingdom. So what I'm going to be discussing about today are basically, I'm going to be talking about the two main points that I believe are the most important aspects of the roles in which private sectors and business communities can adapt in order to sort of support the youth leadership initiative and help them to develop the leadership qualities, not just leadership qualities, but their self-development in other sectors as well. So without wasting any more time, I'll just go on to both my points, just to give you a brief overview. So I'm going to, the first point I want to discuss is the ability of the private sector to provide opportunities to the youth to aid them in their personal development in various industries, as well as the existence of a support system amongst the business community for mutual growth and interpersonal development. So touching on the first point, I'd like to start by saying that companies in the private sector, they do provide training for their employees in a wide range of disciplines to aid in their personal development and growth, in which one of the most notable ones are being, being entrepreneurial development. So training youths to adopt entrepreneurial skills and way of thinking is one of the most important aspects of their growth, as it instills in them beneficial leadership qualities and skills. So the private sector and business community play a big role in this aspect of development, and many initiatives have been set up to aid them in this process. So I'd like to thank my own country, Venezuela, I'm expecting now, and sort of tell you a bit more about the kind of initiatives that we have in place for in our country. So one of the most important initiatives that we have in our country, Venezuela now, is the recent establishment of DARE, which is short for Venezuelan Enterprise. So it is just a brief overview of what DARE actually does. It's a statutory body that is driven by industry players to nurture and support local enterprises from start to growth. They offer many forms of aid for budding entrepreneurs, mostly youths, in developing their business from the ground up. So support of this nature is vital in developing their skill sets, not just in leadership, but also in many other areas such as management and business. DARE also hosts regular dialogue sessions where they invite industry leaders and business owners, both local and regional, to share their business experiences and challenges and how they overcome these challenges. So in a sense, the youth will gain an insight into the problem-solving process, also aiding in their personal growth. Notably, one of the most important tools that DARE provides is helping them to connect to the network, the business network. They provide a platform for these people to connect with local and regional as well as international businesses who share the same interests and goals with them. One of the ways they do this is via the introduction of the Industry Business Academy, or IBA for short, which holds workshops and sessions that train budding entrepreneurs the different aspects of business management growth, from writing a business model all the way to managing different aspects of a business. This way, our youths can easily get connected to an ever-changing network easier than ever was before. There are hopes that with these initiatives, they will be able to develop our youths to be in line with the country's vision, which is Wawasan 2035, in which one of the areas of development states to create a local business development strategy to enhance opportunities for local, small and medium-sized businesses, small and medium-sized enterprises, or SMEs for short, as well as to enable Bruneians to achieve leadership in business and industry by developing greater competitive strength. Another initiative that's being carried out by the private sector and business community is the introduction of apprenticeship schemes for graduates who either lack insufficient work experience or were previously unsuccessful in seeking employment. The aim of the apprenticeship scheme is to provide apprentices with the knowledge and skills that can supplement their current competencies that will enhance their employment opportunities. Youth that are seeking employment but lack necessary skills can benefit from this scheme in more ways than one, as it serves as a gateway to the various job opportunities in the industry, and it helps them to plan for their future undertakings. Such form of skill development is essential amidst unemployment as a measure to reduce said number of unemployed workers, especially youth and recent graduates. So I'm going to bring it back to my own country again. So the apprenticeship scheme trains the youth in the different departments of the company, how they work and function coherently with one another to bring about results. And this form of intensive yet multidisciplinary training will form the basis for a new form of youth development in an ever-growing industry. In Brunei, apprenticeship schemes are committed mainly by the energy industry under the Department of Energy and Industry, offering about 70 apprenticeship positions since its opening just a few years ago. They provide youth with a chance to be in a working environment where they will be expected to carry out tasks diligently and responsibly, similar to that of permanent employment. Such initiatives, if brought to the regional level and even international level, can further develop our youth's understanding and leadership amongst other industry players in ASEAN, ASEAN-China, and international markets. So now I would like to move to my second point, which is the existence of a support system among the business community. Another key point to make is that most businesses are built on the basis of networking. As such, there is an underlying community linking businesses together. The existence of such a community is such that business owners can learn from one another in regards to different aspects of their business. Making a note of this point, we can see that a support system is developed among these business owners. A support system has but one purpose: to support others. Taking the youth into perspective, said support system can aid them in their personal and interpersonal growth in an ever-changing sector. Brunei's youth today are no longer fearful of going into the business industry. I'd like to make a highlight of the point that Dr. Don mentioned about the paradigm shift that's going on in Malaysia right now. So I can say that we Bruneians are experiencing such a paradigm shift in terms of our youth mind mentality, which is shifting from the public sector to options in the private sector as well. So, and more accessible to public, commonly using social media as a platform to promote their businesses. Additionally, His Majesty's government has...
I'm a senior student from Royal University of Phnom Penh. During this discussion, we will be focusing on summary and recommendation. However, due to the time constraint, we will call for recommendations from participants. So let me call for any recommendation from participants. You are giving exact 2 minutes for your talk. Thank you.